Thank you so much thank you for joining us on this cold, awful day. Maybe this kept people in from shopping if you're on leave already. But we appreciate you spending some time with us. Let's give it another couple seconds. Okay, as I said a few minutes ago, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this third Thursday Community Information Session, open forum. We really appreciate you joining us today. My name is Avis Thomas Lester. I'm the Public Information Officer for DPIE. I will serve as your host this morning. Before we get started, I'd like to get a few housekeeping issues out of the way with you if we could. First of all, we have enabled closed captioning for anybody who would like to use that. We are also recording the message. You should have been muted when you entered the virtual meeting space. If you were not, please mute yourself now and remain muted. That means keep your microphone with the little symbol, the line that goes through it, off until you're called on to speak. The reason why that's important is if somebody's dog starts barking or their children come down for a glass of milk, we'd like you to be able to do that in privacy. Thank you so much. We are going to do a very short presentation before we get to the Q&A. If you'd like to ask a question, as soon as the panelists are finished introducing themselves, we'll start taking questions. You're welcome to ask your question in the chat. Just make sure that you've enabled the chat so that everyone will be able to see your question. If you have a comment that you want to go specifically to one member of the staff, you can go down to their name and then they would be the only one empowered to see it on the chat. I think that that's all we have. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you our fabulous boss, Director Melinda Bowling. Director Bowling is, we really do think one of the most motivational people that we've ever met. She's certainly, we think, the best boss in Prince George's County. Practically every week she comes with some sort of new innovation for us to perform the work that we do for you better. She challenges us every day and then gives us the freedom to be creative in responding to her demands, polite demands. So without further ado, Director Bowling.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our December 3rd Thursdays. We're so happy to have you today and happy to have an open forum. Happy holidays to each one of you. Please stay safe and stay dry today. And we look forward to answering your questions. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Director Bowling. We were blessed maybe about 2 months ago to have our next commenter join us, Deputy Director Lamont Hinton. Working with Director Bowling has hit the ground running. He has got us charged up and fired up and moving and grooving and getting things done and improving some of our processes. He's working with each of us who report directly to him to sort of step up our game. He, like Director Bowling, keep us sharp, and we appreciate having him here. Deputy Director Hinton, if you could address us.
Good morning, all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I look forward to continuing to work with the amazing staff members at DPIE and the community at large. We have definitely have a lot of folks who are eager to serve the residents of Prince George's County. Happy holidays to each and every one of you.
Thank you. And I'd also like to give a shout out to our second Deputy Director Dawit Abraham. Some of you on this call, I'm sure, know him. He is amazing, as our the other members of our director team. He's taking some days off, so he can't be with us, but he wanted to wish everybody happy holidays and let you know that he'll be back with us in January. I'd also like to say thanks to some people who are helping us out today behind the scenes. We've got Candace Taylor, who is the one that we all go to screaming and hollering, Candace, help. We can't get something to work. The person who makes it happen technologically for us is Ed Hall, calm, cool, and collected. He's always there at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning to answer questions before these programs. We really appreciate him. We've got Tia Collins, who our fabulous Tia, who is letting you in and going to be operating the PowerPoint for us today. And then I'm not sure if she's on the call or not, but the graphic artist, Cindy Manuel, is one who's responsible for the PowerPoints that you'll see today and that you see with all of our presentations. So we'd like to give all of them thanks. And also Yvette, who is the IT director here. She just makes sure that everything runs smoothly. She came over a few minutes ago and made sure that everything was going well for us. So now we've got some illustrious panelists who are joining us today. I'd like to start off by asking Director Balur Ravi Shankar, Associate Director Ravi Shankar, if you could say a few words.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the third Thursday, December meeting. I'm Balur Ravi Shankar. I'm the Associate Director for Building Plan Review Division and Permitting and Licensing Division. Thank you.
Thank you. Associate Director Giles.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. I'm Mary Giles, the Associate Director of Site Road Plan Review Division. We're the folks that review and approve site-related permits.
Thank you. Associate Director Kashani.
Good morning, happy holidays. I'm Bidat Kashanian. We regulate new construction in Prince George's County. We also regulate illegal constructions in the county. I will drop my name, my email address, and my cell phone on a chat. If you have any concern, any question related to illegal construction or new construction, please don't hesitate to email me. I'd be more than happy to address any concern you have. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you. Associate Director Val Carey.
Good morning, everyone, and happy holidays. My name is Valerie Carey. I'm the Associate Director for Enforcement at DPIE. I always tell people I'm the E in DPIE. And we're responsible for maintaining the property maintenance and enforcing the property maintenance codes for Prince George's County on private property and commercial property. We're also responsible for licensing and inspecting all rental properties in Prince George's County, be they apartment buildings or single family homes, or even now Airbnbs or those types of rentals. And as if that isn't enough, we also are responsible for enforcing the zoning codes in Prince George's County. And I'm very fortunate to have some of my staff who will be answering all your questions while I sit and listen. I have my Assistant Associate Director, Crystal Tibbs. You could wave, there you go. I have my Code Enforcement Officer for the rental section, Ms. Palacios. And I think I also have my Senior Supervisor for multifamily housing, Mr. Saunders. So between the four of us, we'll try to get your questions answered. And thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Now we'd like to hear from Assistant Associate Director Karen Spears, please.
Good morning and welcome to the December 3rd Thursday meeting. I am the Assistant Associate Director for the Permitting and Licensing Division, where we intake the applications, conduct the plans coordination for the reviewers, and issue permits for new buildings, for interior renovations, for exterior renovations, decks, fences, and issue the use and occupancy permit, the use and occupancy job cards for the businesses that are in Prince George's County. I will also provide my contact information so that if you have any additional questions, you may reach out to me, and I'm responding to the first question regarding how to get permitting history.
Thank you. Assistant Associate Director Tibbs.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Happy holidays to all. If you're out and about driving, please be safe distancing when you're following people. I think Director Carey said it all. I'm the Assistant Associate Director for Enforcement. Happy to be here. Just forgot another one of our staff. Senior Supervisor Maria Hyatt is also with us. She is our Property Housing Standards Supervisor, so she's here joining us as well. So thanks for coming and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Code Enforcement Officer Renee Palacios.
Hi, good morning and happy holidays to everyone. I'm in the holiday spirit this week and can't wait for next week. Thank you all for being here today, taking time out of your schedules for Christmas shopping and wrapping presents to be with us today. Hopefully you all will learn something on this community meeting, and you will put your questions in the chat and we shall answer you with the utmost quickness. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. We have Supervisor Inspector Calvin Saunders.
Good morning, everybody. I'm the supervisor for multifamily and vacant units. We're responsible for enforcement of upkeep of properties for apartment complexes, common areas of condos, and also vacant properties that may be in the county. So feel free, reach out to me anytime for any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. And Supervisor Inspector Hyatt.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Maria Hyatt, and I'm the supervisor in the Enforcement Division, and I cover single family, the southern end of the county.
Thank you very much. And from our licensing division, we have Supervisor Sharon Williams.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharon Williams II. I am the lead in the licensing section. We are tasked with issuing business licenses in Prince George's County. Some of our more prominent licenses are pawn dealerships and the pawn dealer employees, as well as the second dealers and second dealer employees. Everyone be safe and have a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did I get everybody? I just want to make sure that we got, if there's anybody else in the staff who's gathered here, want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. Anybody? Going, gone. Okay. Tia, can you start the presentation, please? We're going to do this very fast. I know that your main reason for joining us is to get your questions answered. So we're going to make this really, really fast. Whenever we do a program, Director Bowling likes us to give people some written information to go along with it. So this is our open forum. Next slide, please. Director Bowling would like to say some words to you. And so please make sure that you read her message here. Next slide. If I didn't say so before, this presentation will be posted on the DPIE website within an hour after we finish our presentation, if it's not there already. And the video from the presentation will be posted on our YouTube page within the next day or so. So please feel free to go back and look at everything in great detail if you'd like. This next slide basically breaks down the divisions. The directors for most of those have been introduced to you, so we'll move on. And here we just like to take this opportunity again to thank you for joining us and to remind you that we gather every third Thursday of the month from 11 to 12 noon right here and talk about a variety of subjects. If you registered today, that link will get you all the way, you are registered for the meetings all the way through March, and we'll be putting another one out very, very soon. If you have ideas for third Thursday, things that you'd like to see covered by us, please feel free to send an email there or to call me. That is my phone number. Next slide. Okay. We also like to make sure that you have the ability to see all of our presentations. Our last third Thursday meeting was about zoning, investigating zoning violations. So you, when you get this, you can click on the link and see that presentation. On our website, you can also see the presentations for all of our third Thursday meetings. Next slide, Tia. This is the slide to the winter session of Community Partners. We had that meeting on Tuesday. It was hosted by DPWNT. It was a wonderful presentation. So please make sure that if you weren't there, you take a look at, click on this link and take a look at the information that was presented. Okay, now I think we can stop here, Tia. Thank you. This is available. Please feel free to read it. And let us know if you have any questions about any of the information that you see. But for now, without further ado, we'd like to go ahead and get started with our Q&A. If you have questions that you would like answered, generally, please put those in the text. If you would like to have your question answered by one of the staff members here, if you'd like to speak your question, please raise your hand electronically. Thank you. We'll give Tia a second to take this down. Thank you very much, Tia. Okay, do we have any? Okay, we'll go ahead and start off with Miss Delma Strong. Now, I'm sorry, Miss Strong, if we could, just for a minute. We understand that we have some particular situations. We have people who are available to help you today. So please feel free to let us know if there's a situation that you're dealing with that you would like to somebody to help you with one-on-one, and we can have that done for you during the meeting or shortly thereafter. Ms. Strong?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I'm with the Woodview Village HOA, and we had a homeowner on Thanksgiving night to start like a bonfire in his backyard, and several of the family members were all standing around. And we didn't think it was right, but didn't have any of the intel on it. So we called one of the officers as a non-emergency, and we didn't get an answer back. And so I'm just wondering, what's the intel? What's the information on bonfires on your personal property? Who can I speak with, or where can we go to get the regs on that?
No, I was going to say, we have Calvin, can you answer that one?
I would contact the fire marshal's office for anything in that situation. I mean, if they have a fire and it's an active fire going on, you know, you can always call the fire department to come out, the local station to come out to investigate the issue and give them guidance. But that would be something that would be handled by the fire marshal's office, as far as if they can have a fire, how big, and so on, what is contained in.
Okay, because I know in some parts, I guess maybe more rural parts, people can have fires. They can start like small fires or what have you. But I know that we're probably in a zoning area where there are, where fires are not allowed. And so the fire marshal's office would be the appropriate place to give that kind of information.
Yes, and you can reach them by calling 301-583-2200.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Great. Any other electronic questions before we get to the ones in the chat? Okay, so let's go up here. And please make sure that we're going to read these aloud, but make sure that you check the chat for the answers. Okay, it says, during today's session with DPIE, please address the processes a homeowner may follow to obtain a permitting history for your property. Would you cover how far back the records are that DPIE has available, and in what form that can be assessed by a homeowner about your property? Karen?
Yes, I put the answer in the chat.
Okay. Would you mind discussing it for the folks?
Sure. She can submit a Maryland public information request and specify exactly what information she wants to obtain, and anything electronic as far as permitting records would begin at 2013 if the application was submitted via our e-permits e-plan system. Anything before that, when there were paper records, we have done some scanning. And so there is some information, but basically our retention schedule for paper plans and information is 5 years. Of course, we've always had pretty much a electronic permitting system for general information, but as far as having the actual plans, that we probably may not have prior to 2013. So the submission of the request, the MPIA request, would help us to do the search and provide the information that we do have electronically.
Thank you. We have a question about Airbnb. Director Bowling answered that. I'm not sure, but Renee, could you talk a little bit about the number of days for short-term renting?
So the number of days for a short-term rental is 30 days or less. And I did answer the lady in the chat also, Avis.
Yeah, we had a comment that people said that some people can't see, they can't read what's in the chat because the lettering is too small. So if we could get everybody, even if you do respond, we'll try to ask these questions aloud so people can have access to the answers in case they can't see the lettering in the chat. Okay. Thank you. Good morning and happy holidays. Single family, new home, new construction. Why would a noise level certification be required in a pre-existing subdivision? Can somebody take that one? Why would,
Avis, you kind of went out for a second there, Avis, if you could read it again.
okay, it says, why would a noise level certification be required in a pre-existing subdivision? Anybody can take that one. Ivory Banks, if you're Ms. Banks, if you're on, could you explain to us, maybe elaborate on what you'd like to know?
Good morning, sure. We had requested, we were required, I'm sorry, to have a noise level certification done on the home that I'm building. And it's on land that exists in a pre-existing subdivision. There are homes already there, and we have the last lot available. And we were required, even though one had been done because the subdivision has been around for quite some time, we were required to hire a professional to go out and do a noise level certification, and no one could answer why we were required to do that.
This is Bedad Koshanian. Do you mind sending me that request? Because I need to know exactly where it came from.
Sure.
I requested it. I dropped my email address on the chat. If you don't mind, send it to B as in boy, A as in apple, Koshanian, KASHANIAN @co.pg.md.us. I'd be more than happy to follow up with you. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we going to be able to schedule appointments to obtain permits anytime soon?
You can, if you are applying for a residential home owner type of permit, you can come in Monday through Friday. If you need assistance with any other type of a permit or need of information, you can also come in at that time, and we have staff that will assist you with wherever you are in the process.
Thank you. Would DPIE post a list of fundamental requirements for building an SFD to help families better set expectation for costs and needed expertise? Now I see that you responded, somebody responded, but if you could say it aloud for the folks.
Well, I'll chime in on that one. This is Mary Giles. DPIE has a technogram 008-2018 that describes in a lot of detail the requirements for getting a building permit and the related site road permits for a residential infill lot. So you might want to look at that technogram. Also last month, I think it was last month, we covered the topic of residential infill permitting in this third Thursday. So Avis, I don't know if those videos are posted. The person could view those videos again. So
real quick, can you guys provide the link to where that information is that Ms. Giles just mentioned? That would be great.
Ms. Banks, if you put your contact information in the link in the chat for us, I'll make sure that I can send you the technogram and the infill, the residential infill permitting process presentations and the links. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's a document.
Yes.
Okay.
They're online. So I'll just send you the links to both.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, let's see on down here. Any other hands raised? This is the only meeting that I've been to in many where we only had one person who had a question. Nobody has we're happy to answer if you, okay, we'll continue on the link then, on the chat then. Okay, Mr. Judge, UNOs for new single family homes in the past, they are mailed and a request can be made, an additional fee paid for this to be emailed to the applicant. Can the UNO be loaded to project docs to avoid the extra fee in step once it is issued? You could save mailing costs and staff time processing the email request. Can somebody respond?
I'll respond to that. This is Bedad Koshanian. Our UNOs are basically automated. Simply what it is, when the building inspector signs off on a UNO, commercial or residential, doesn't matter. it's through the automated system, so it gets printed at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, and it gets mailed out the following day. That's our process. However, momentum is coming, and under momentum, we are rethinking the entire process. And one of the things we're rethinking on the entire process is the UNO send out. So we are planning to email the UNOs based on the applicant email address information provided. So that is also going to go through the automated system. So the UNO is going to generate it. Hopefully it will go well through the system. It will be PDF file. It will be sent out to the applicant the day after the UNO has been issued. So I'm hoping in a matter of few weeks, not more than a month or two, everybody's going to see that change, and that should resolve that concern. But we also have a process that you could obtain that. I believe it's $4 or $5 per copy. I'm not so sure exactly how much it is now, but that is a possibility for now. But as I said, in a couple of weeks, that should go away entirely.
Good morning. Just to add to that, this is Mr. Ravi Shankar. As we speak currently, once the UNO is issued, it is being sent through email to the applicant email address. However, if the owner wants to get a copy of that, they can request it. That can be sent by email also. So, you can contact a permitting shop, and we'll be more than happy to facilitate that request.
Thank you. How long does it typically take to get a use and occupancy permit for an office commercial space once site plans have been uploaded?
Yeah, the process is, once if it is a straight use and occupancy application, the permitting staff process the application along with the site plan, and then forward the application to Park and Planning for the review and approval. Once the Park and Planning reviews and approves the application, a job card will be issued, and the applicant needs to request inspection. Once they have the job card, once the inspection is approved, the use and occupancy will be issued.
Thank you. What are the consequences of not having a rental license, and what is your process of enforcing it? Renee?
So I'm sorry, what was the first part, Avis?
What are the consequences of not having a rental license, and what is your process of enforcing it?
Okay, so the consequence of not having a rental license, it could be $1,000 citation issued to the homeowner to pay the citation. And also, if the property is being rented and we have investigated that the property is being rented without the required rental license, we can also send the property owner to court to get an order to cease and desist what they're doing at the property.
So what do you suggest people do if they have a suspicion about an illegal short-term rental in their neighborhood?
And they need to contact 311 first so that we can go in and investigate what has occurred and what is happening at the property, so that we can get our ducks in a row in order to either issue a citation or to send the case to court for processing.
Thank you. No hands raised, so we'll take the next question here. Ms. Banks would like to speak to someone about her specific home building project. So did you put your information in? I haven't had a chance to check the chat yet, but if anybody, okay,
I did.
we'll make sure somebody gets back with you, Ms. Banks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Cruz is there. Hi, Ms. Cruz, how are you? Okay, what is the specific building code violation number for the widening of a driveway for a driveway that was already in place when you purchased a property? What is the specific building code violation number for the widening of a driveway for a driveway that was already in place when you purchased a property?
Ms. Cruz, are you asking, we would call that illegal construction or unpermitted construction. So you're asking for the code violation number? You're muted, Ms. Cruz. We can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yes, I didn't get a specific number. It said it was a violation, but it didn't tell me what particular number, like that I can reference to say, you know, what it is. It just gave me the code number for what the fee was, but it didn't actually tell me, so I can research it and find out what it was. It just said you have an illegal widening, and it was already there, and it was in kind. It was gravel, and I just put asphalt over what was already there.
Director, I think Inspector Swan has been working with Ms. Cruz, so we can make sure that we get you that information, Ms. Cruz, and get you on a phone call with him. I'm not sure if you guys have spoken again.
Yes, I did, but it wasn't really addressed. Nobody actually ever gave me the code.
Okay.
That's
we'll
all
get
I'm
that.
trying to find out is what the code is.
Yes, ma'am. We'll get that to you
Ms.
this
Cruz,
afternoon.
This is Bidat Kashanian. It's actually covered on our subtitle 32 and subtitle 4. If you could send me a copy of your violation. I do apologize that it wasn't listed specifically giving you the code section. So if you don't mind sending me that, or send me a property address for me on the chat, I'd be more than happy to follow up with you and give you that information.
Okay.
As I said, it is on subtitle 4 and 32, and I'd be more than happy to share that with you. If you received a citation, it should have been listed on a citation, but I'd be more than happy to look into it. No problem.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, are code violations in vacant properties public record? And if so, where? So Val, you can take part of that and I'll take the other part.
So no, you can request if you have a specific address and you submitted Maryland Information Act request, you can get code violations on that particular address. But no, there is no one database with all the codes on vacant properties listed.
Okay, and I was just gonna say, and she answered it for me. We have a Maryland Public Information Act request form that we do for DPIE, where we provide documents to citizens. So if you complete that and send it in, we can research that for you and send you a copy of the violation. I think Val said at one point there were upwards of 3,500 vacant properties in Prince George's County at each time, each month. And so we don't keep records of all 35 or 4,000, 3,500 or 4,000 of those. But if you have information or request about a specific property and you let us know, we can see what we have on that for you. Thank you. Any hands raised electronically yet? No. Okay. Let's go on down the list here. While we're going down the list here, if there's anything that any of the staff members would like to say, Director, anything that you'd like to talk about, any initiatives that that are upcoming that anybody would like to share, please take this opportunity to do so. Okay, here's one. Do we need a permit to do a new drive in a townhouse?
Could you be a little bit more clear about a new drive? Is that an existing drive? You're resurfacing it? You're basically building a new drive in a townhouse community under HOA? Could you elaborate a little bit more about the question, please?
It's Lee Lim. It says Lee Lim.
Well, Badad, why don't you just give the different scenarios? If in fact they wanted to do a new driveway, or if in fact they wanted to recover a new existing driveway.
Yeah, as long as if the driveway is there and you're not changing any footprint or anything, you're just basically doing a little milling on the side in order to resurface it. That we don't have any requirement for that, as long as you stay within what has already been approved and you're not expanding it. But however, if you're building a new driveway with the apron and curb cut and all of those, that will require a permit. And also we require bond for that too. So we require a bond for that construction on top of the driveway permit, apron permit and so forth.
Thank you. We have a homeowner who ignores all violation notices. What is our next action? That came from Ms. Strong again.
Avis,
So
I just
Avis-
wanted to point out there were a couple hands up too.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
So Avis, in the chat, I had asked Miss, I'm sorry. I had asked her if she would provide us with an address so that we can investigate that further.
Okay. Could you all just talk about it generally, your process?
So it would depend what discipline it would be. If it's a single family rental, if it's a short-term rental, if it's single family, sometimes the processes are different. So that's why we need to be more specific. If it's single family, normally they write citations as well. They can also send someone to court. They can also, depending on what the violation is, if it's something that they've written a citation for, and if it's something that the county can go out and complete, then they can get an order to have that process completed as far as cleaning up trash and debris or removing an unlicensed vehicle.
Thank you. Now let's take a question from Mr. Matthew Can. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I apologize if I butchered your name. We need you to unmute yourself, sir. Can you turn your volume up perhaps? We still can't hear you.
While Mr. Matthews working that out, can we go to Mr. Wilson?
Yes. Mr. Atamo?
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is Mr. Wilson Itamo. I have 3 questions, please. The first question is on a commercial condo setup, how does DPI determine the number of parking spots required in order to grant a U&O to a unit that needs one? In a case where the association does not have like assigned parking spots.
So I believe, and somebody from permitting, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be under our colleagues from Park and Planning, Maryland National Capital Park and Planning, to determine the number of parking spots per condo. Is that correct? Or am I wrong?
You're correct. Park and Planning regulates the number of parking spaces based on their parking and loading standards that's in the zoning code. So during review of the permit, Park and Planning would confirm the parking required.
Okay, because someone told me that they go with maybe the surface area, so, and that the calculation is done based on maybe 100, one parking spot required for every 100 square foot. I don't know if that's correct.
It depends on what your uses are. It like there's more parking required for medical office than for retail, for example. So you really need to coordinate with MNCPPC for them to confirm the parking required.
Okay. Can I have maybe a contact for them or the code that they use to be able to determine that?
Yes, I'll put a name of a person from Park and Planning in the chat that you could contact.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Did you have another question, sir?
Yes. I am in the process of obtaining a U&O and needed to get a fire marshal for a fire inspection. For the last 2 months, I have been calling their office and I'm not able to get anyone. I've been looking for an address to drive there to go in person. I've not been able to get an address to go to. Where can I go to get help to get a fire marshal to do an inspection so that I get my U&O?
Well, you came to the right office. Badad, you want to help him?
Sure, if you don't mind, just drop me a note with your UNO case, and I'll send that to the fire department to assist you. And also I will give you a phone number to contact. You may be dialing the wrong number or a number that it goes into voicemail rather than a person. But if you send me a note with your case number, I'd be more than happy to help you with that.
Thank you very much, sir. If you don't mind, can I have your email to which to send a note?
Sure, it's on a chat at the beginning of the chat. It's B as a boy, A as an apple. My last name as is spelled on a screen, Kashanian. And everybody's email address in Prince George's County is the same at co.pg.md.us. So that part of it is the same for everybody. That's BA.Kashanian at co.pg.md.us. Thank you.
Okay, BA.Kashanian.
No, there is no dot. It's all one word.
Oh, BA Kashanian.
Yeah, BA Kashanian. That is correct.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I will do that.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shepherd-Smith?
Yes, thank you. My name is Gail Shepherd-Smith, and I was sent an email that stated that I needed everyone must sign up for a new parking permit we just had on 8722, we already have parking permits, but I was sent that I need to renew the parking permit that I have, and I'm having problems because I don't know what to do. Please, I don't know how to do this.
Can someone take that question?
So is that typically handled by the Revenue Authority or okay. So does anybody from DPIE have a contact to give Ms. Gail Shepherd-Smith, the Revenue Authority information? That's handled by another agency, Ms. Shepherd-Smith. So we can't
Okay.
solve it for you, but we will give you that. And somebody's going to raise their hand on my team and say, I know somebody from the Revenue Authority.
If she could put her information on the chat, I can forward direct contact to her.
Thank
Can you do
Okay.
that, Ms. Smith? Okay, great, wonderful.
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Can? We still can't hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. So my question here is I'm actually a project manager for a design build remodeling company. And we are getting ready to tackle a project that's on Dartmouth Avenue in College Park. The house was built in 1927. And some of the exterior plaster walls have significant damage. They're pretty much attached directly to the stone and brick structure of the house. There is no framing of 2x4 studs because of the age of the house. And my question here is, if we're replacing the plaster, do we have to get a variance, or are we grandfathered with the insulation factor of things? Because it has existing windows from when the house was first built. And that's going to cause a lot of turmoil trying to build walls to insulate it, because it's going to go into other existing areas or rooms of the house, how the door frames were done. So how do we address that issue with the insulation? If we have like 2 or 3 exterior walls in rooms that we have to replace.
Thank you. Budai?
This gets technical into kind of a little different diversions from, and that we need to discuss. How many walls, exterior walls, are you removing? You're removing 1 exterior wall, 2, 3, or 4?
So there's 2 rooms on the 2nd floor. So in each room, it'll have 2 exterior walls. Down on the 1st floor, it will be most likely 1.
Okay. If you remove the exterior wall, then you need to comply with the current code with regard to the R rating.
So no, that's just the plaster. I'm not removing the wall. I'm taking the plaster off. There really is no wall. The wall is the brick.
Yeah,
and the stone structure.
You probably need to send me information to my email so I could follow up with you and not take everybody's time on the
Certainly.
details. And I don't think the intent is to do plan review on these sessions, but I'd be more than happy to follow up with you if you could give me more information. And
yes,
send it to my email address, and I will follow up with you. And if I can't answer that question, I will send you back to the plan review to discuss your situation with Taz, our plan reviewer, and we'd be more than happy to help you out.
that'd be wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, now
Can I get your email?
Sure. It's B as in boy, A as in apple. My last name Kashanian, Kashanian @co.pg.md.us.
Okay, can you just repeat the spelling of your last name again? Kash.
ANIAN.
ANIAN.
Okay.
That's what I needed. Thank you so
And then
much.
also on the chat, if you go back to the chat, it's at the beginning of the chat. I think.
Okay.
Chat.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
very good.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
So we're gonna have to do another little housekeeping thing now. We've got a number of questions, so I need the questions to be more succinct, please, and we're gonna get the answers to be more succinct as well, so we can try to get through all these. Mr. Pham wants to buy a plot of land to buy a house, and he wants somebody to tell him how he would go about doing that, and what are the costs for utilities. Mr. Pham, could you put your question in the chat, sir, and we can have somebody get back with you, because I would imagine that you probably want to have some extended conversation with somebody about that one. If someone could pick that up from the chat, that would be great. Mr. Atamo, I think we've answered your question. Ms. Smiler says, is there a zone graphical map where I can print and see zone R? For R, RC, et cetera, I realize it changes. Can somebody give her a quick site?
Yeah, if you go into the website called pgatlas.com, there's 2 layers for zoning. There's previous zoning and it's called zoning previous and zoning. All the zones in the county recently changed. So the previous is what it used to be and the other layer is what your current zone is. You can type in the address and then turn the zoning layer on and click on it and it'll tell you what zone it is.
Okay, here's a question. Somebody wants to know, since our retention schedule requires us to keep records for 5 years, would we research further back than 5 years if there's a request? As the custodian of records, I can tell you that we often don't have records older than 5 years. So we will give you the information that we have available. So just go ahead and submit the request and then we'll do the best we can for you. Okay, Ms. Strong, Maria answered there. Okay, if you own a home built in 1927 and some of the exterior plaster walls are, that's Mr. Can, sorry. Okay, that one's done, that one's done. Mr. Eric, let's take your question while I review the chat here. We can't hear you, sir.
Mr. Eric, you're muted. You have to turn your volume on. You're still muted.
Oh man, okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can, yes.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Quick question. In a commercial condominium setting, if there seems to be a conflict between the bylaws and the county permit office, how do we resolve this kind of stuff?
Could you repeat your question?
So he says there's a conflict between the county laws and the bylaws of the condo in a commercial condo. So one says something's permitted and one says it is not, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
I could
Go
take
ahead.
I could take that. Essentially, we do not regulate the bylaws, so we go by the county, the regulation. And the bylaws are the responsibility of the owner. So if there are conflict, that needs to be resolved with your HOA. The county does not regulate, enforce the bylaws. So that is a private matter. We regulate the county codes and regulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Jackson, what can be done when the same van parking overnight and change rides and come back every night don't live in the neighborhood? Please let me know on Boxer between Brondale and Powder Mill.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Val, could you respond to him, please?
So is this van parked on the street, sir?
Yes, it's on the street. I mean, I guess it's on the side. I mean, I don't know if it's on the side of the road, sort of like, so I guess it's,
So our partners at the Revenue Authority will handle that, and I'll put their information in the chat so you can contact them directly. But if you call PG 311 and put that complaint into 311, it'll go directly to the Revenue Authority. And they'll-
okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You hear that too, Miss Janetti? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Perkins has a question for Calvin. Calvin, could you put your contact information in and Ms. Perkins can reach out to you directly?
Yeah, I've already responded to Ms.
Okay,
Perkins.
great.
It's a single family home. So I gave her Supervisor Beth's email also. to
Okay.
contact with her.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Strong, you are not required to participate in the composting program. That is a program that's done out of our sister agency, the Department of the Environment. If you send me an email later, I can put you in touch with my counterpart there, Linda Lowe. So if you put your contact information in the chat, we can get you in contact with her. Okay. Any other hands raised while we go through here? Anybody want to shout out some instructions? Okay, what can be done to encourage regular cleanup of Pepco property along a path? Did anybody respond to that one? That extends from the Tacoma Towers across the Pepco property to.
Yes, I did.
If you send it, did somebody respond?
I responded to it in the chat, and I just need to find out exactly where the location is and whether or not it belongs to Pepco or that apartment complex.
Okay.
So I would need a good area so we can investigate, the property.
Okay, great. All right, did somebody respond to Mr. Jackson's question about somebody operating an illegal property? What can be done about a rented resident operating a business out of the home, 10 to 12 commercial vehicles parked in the driveway nightly while the private vehicles parked there during the day? The trucks.
Yes. Yes, Avis, I did. I responded. I think he did provide an address, but we still have to go back and investigate and see what has transpired.
Okay, great. Mr. Woodruff is there. Hi, Mr. Woodruff.
Hi, how are you, Avis?
Fine,
Good
thank
morning,
you.
everybody. I'm with the Rosaryville Association. And as you know, Avis, we have worked through the years to help elderly and disabled people clear their sidewalks and driveways during the snowy season. And we have a question about the memorandum on the county winter sidewalk snow and ice removal inspection program. And the question is, when there are sidewalks that are basically impassable because of disrepair, and the homeowner might be a disabled person, but we have really we can't get people to go shovel those because the sidewalk is all out of order, crumbled and so forth. What is the level of responsibility that people are actually held to on that? Because people rarely walk down those, if at all, because of the state of disrepair. And they've been that way for years, and I'm sure that we're not the only community that experiences that.
If you have sidewalks in front of your property that are in a county road right away, and you're hopeful that the county will come out and repair them, you should put in a 311 request. That would be directed to the Department of Public Works and Transportation. DPW&T does have a program for sidewalk replacement. If it's a municipal street, if you're in a municipality, you would send the request to the municipality instead, because the municipalities control the sidewalks in those locations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Did you have another question, sir? Okay. Let's go down. I see that there are responses. Try to get some of these that haven't been answered. If you have not had an answer to your question yet, if you could raise your hand so we can make sure that we get through these, because there are a number here. What can be done to get a regular cleanup behind Tacoma Pizza and along Sheridan Street near Tacoma Plaza?
Okay, Avis, that's a commercial property, and that is our zoning unit. We handle the property maintenance for commercial properties. If I could get, I don't know where Tacoma Pizza is, so if I could get an address, that would help. Can the person who asked that question raise their hand or give me an address?
Can you do that, please? And also always remember too, anytime you have a concern about a property maintenance issue on a property, please let your first step be to contact PGC 311 and file a complaint there. And the complaint will be forwarded to the appropriate agency. If you'd like, you're also welcome to file the complaint and then contact me or one of the people that you met here with the who's involved in enforcement for the appropriate issue. You can send it to them and then they can, go ahead and try to see if they can get a head start on taking a look for you. But it's always best to put everything in PGC 311 and make sure that it doesn't get lost in the system. Ms. Miles, can you put that information in, or you want to tell us the information about Tacoma Pizza? We can't hear you, ma'am.
All right, I'm coming off of mute. It's Tacoma Plaza. The address is 6501 New Hampshire Avenue. The area that is just been bombarded with trash for a long time is behind, I think it's called Tacoma Liquors, and it's on the corner of Sheridan Street and New Hampshire Avenue. The property that it flows over into is a vacant property, and it has had problems before. I don't know to whom it belongs, but it is an eyesore. I think we even did a drive-by back before COVID, and everybody just says, be patient, but my patience is really growing thin. I thank you for all that you do, but we need some help up here with all of that litter. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Miles, I'll have somebody, a zoning inspector out to that property within no later than Monday, and we'll see if we can get use some relief.
All right, I thank you much.
F. Little, you have a question, please?
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning. First and foremost, thank you all for this. I really appreciate it. It's very helpful. I did put a question in the chat. I did come up to DPIE last week. Thank you to Mr. Teresa Lima. I got my permit after months of waiting, but he did the daggone thing. Thank you, Mr. Lima. I'm in the process now of remodeling the home, but I have a lot of land in the back. So I wanted to know within Prince George's County, what is the criteria to maybe think about building small, tiny homes, or maybe a small 4 to 6 multifamily unit or something? I'm just trying to think proactively what I can do with all of that acreage in the back, because I'm thinking dollars and cents right now. So how do I even begin? Do I start with zoning, blah, blah, blah. But my question is in the chat, so.
Yes, Ms. Lidl, you
much,
answered your own question.
I did.
You did. You start with zoning. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Bowling.
Thank you, Melinda. I think she answered herself the questions you were asking. Yeah, start with the park and planning. And again, this is Mr. Belur Ravishankar.
Thank you,
I have
Mr.
my-
Ravishankar.
You have my contact information on the chat.
Yes.
Please reach out to us once you found after your discussion with park and planning. We'll be more than happy to sit with you, chat about what can be done once park and planning gives you a green signal. Then we can chat about how to proceed with what you would like to do.
Okay.
Whether it's small houses or multiple unit building. We can also talk about site road requirements.
Yes.
WSSC requirement, or if it is on well and septic system. All of that, we can chat about it once you get a green signal from park and planning.
Perfect. So that's the first place I go to, park and planning, to get that. And then I can
Yes,
come
please.
back to you guys.
Yes, please.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful day. Bye.
Let's take this one more. I have a constituent who has been trying to get a wheelchair ramp installed. It's been 5 years and no progress. Who do we refer him to?
Yeah, I just responded to Mr. Dion. I think the person named Dion, I said, please call me. I have given my cell number. And also, once I speak to him, we will help him out, whatever needs to happen.
Okay, thanks. And what we'll do is, because we had a number of questions in here, we'll make sure that we take the questions and the answers from the chat and post those. We can do that, right, Candace? I'm sure we can. We'll figure out a way. Director would make us move a mountain to make it happen. So we'll make sure we do that. Thank you so much for joining us. We wish everybody here has the happiest and safest holiday season ever. We will be meeting again on, I think it's January 17th, no, January 15th for Third Thursday. You're already pre-registered for it if you registered for this one today. We look forward to seeing you there, and please keep those calls to 311 coming so that we can help you out. Feel free to reach out to us anytime we can be of service. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Third Thursday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Avis, for a great
contact information
Who was
in
that?
the chat. Can we get Mr. Bilar's contact information in the chat before we exit the call?
I have posted Belur Ravishankar, Associate Director.
Because there's a lot of information in the chat, so it seems to have gotten.
Yeah, I can post it again.
Yeah, type it again, Belur, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
no problem.
And I just wanted to give a shout out to Avis for running another wonderful Third Thursday, the greatest PIO in the county. Thank you so much. We really hope everybody has a safe, wonderful holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you. And I think it'll be the 19th in January, because I think you were giving us a Sunday, not a Thursday. It's the
Oops.
third Thursday. But we'll see you all in January. So take care and goodbye, everybody.